Welcome to another episode of ECTV's Roundtable Discussions. I'm your host, Travis Prince, and today my guest is Andrea Racine. Andrea, thanks for coming to chat with me.
Absolutely. You're very welcome. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to come and talk about something I'm very passionate about.
That's great. So the first thing I always want my guests to do is just tell a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you went to school, your educational background, and just so we can get to know you a little bit.
Sure. Well, I live in a place called Sunshine, Pennsylvania, on Sunshine Mountain, at the top of the mountain.
Wow.
I know, and it's beautiful up there. It's all countryside and a lot of family up there. It's mostly my family, and I grew up there most of the time, and then we moved around a little bit, Chambersburg, then I lived near Boston, Massachusetts for a while, and then came back to Pennsylvania and settled right back into the same homestead house that my father built on Sunshine Mountain. And it's beautiful up there. I love it. I have a lot of family. I then moved to Dunmore area for about 10 years. And when I was there, that's when I started my mural business. Wow. I was in need of a job because I was new to the city. And pretty much I knew that I could paint something fairly quickly and get some money. So what I did is I went around door to every store in the city of Scranton, giving them my card, telling them, you know, I'm an artist, I'm new to the area. If you give me a chance, let me do a mural for you. I'll give you a great deal, you know. And I met a guy named DeMario. He has Essence of Paradise. And he said, you know what, my wife has a Reiki studio. She would love a mural of Victoria Falls in Africa. And I said, absolutely, I can do it for you. And he said, when can you be there? So I went over and I did that. And from there, it just blossomed out. And I have paintings all over in Calabria's Pizza restaurant in Dunmore. I've got murals all over the city, all kinds of pizza places. I can do Tuscany in my sleep because I've done Tuscany so many times. Venice, I've done a lot of Italian scenes, but I am half Italian, so it comes naturally a little bit. And I'd love to get over there just to see Italy in person. Since I've painted it so much, everyone thinks I've been there because I paint like I've been there because I really like to put the energy into it when I paint it. And I said, no, I would love to be there. I can't imagine how the paintings would look if I was actually there in person. But they said, well, don't go because they'll keep you. They won't let you come back. So, but yeah, I'd love to make it there and see some of my family over there. So then after Dunmore, my father had a stroke, so I moved back to take care of him, back to Sunshine Mountain. And now I still reside in the same house that my father built. And he's in a wonderful place, Bonham's out there. And so I took over the house, and I live up on Sunshine Mountain where I paint and create. I also had an art studio for a couple of years doing the paint classes for people. And I still do paint classes, even though because of the flood we had to shut down. The building got knocked down. I continue just doing it kind of freelance, going to different locations and setting up and doing the paint events, paint classes, and I love teaching children especially.
Yeah,
they're so excited. They are just so beyond creative. We are born creative. We unlearn creativity as we age.
I say the same thing.
As we go through life.
Yeah.
So seeing that fresh creativity coming out of children is actually super inspirational as an artist.
That's that energy you can't get from anywhere
absolutely.
else. Yeah.
It's so fresh and pure, straight from spirit, that they're so connected that they just create. They're ready to just throw that paint onto the canvas. They want to go at it. Then as we age, we're older, and as we get older, I see the adults sit there and second guess every brush stroke they put on there because they hold themselves back so bad because they've disconnected inside from that creative energy that flows, the energy that creates worlds, the energy that creates your entire life around you. That's what it's all about. It's connecting with that source energy inside of yourself that lets it flow. People say that artists are the translators from spirit into physical reality.
Wow.
And I believe that.
I never heard that. I like that. I like that. So what got you into mural art?
Well, I was asked to do a mural for a family member when I was younger, and it was pretty much, I was in college, and I hadn't ever painted or drawn anything my whole life until I was 17 and I was in college. I went to LCC and I took the computer arts program.
Wow.
And I was required to take a painting class. And the first project that I had, I turned it in after I had done it, and it was like a sci-fi cover, chaos mode, and there's all like airbrushing and the sea creature and a girl riding it, and I turned it in, and the teacher was known for never giving A's to anyone. He was a really hard teacher to please, and he was known for that. And he actually had a duck on the stamp, on the U.S. stamp. Molnar, his name was, at LCC. And he looked at my painting, and he said, "Who have you been studying under?" And I said, "What? This is the first time I ever picked up a brush and put it to a canvas in my life. I'm just doing this because they're making me for the computer."
Assignment.
Yeah, exactly. So he said, "You know what? You are an artist. You are a natural artist." And when he told me that, a light bulb went off in my head. I said, I am. I think I am. And I accepted that. I think a lot of the thing with we artists is we don't accept our worthiness of being an artist.
That was at 17?
Yes.
But prior to 17, you really weren't interested in art?
No, I was kind of creative and stuff. And my mother was an excellent pianist. She could listen to a song one time and sit down and play it note for note on the piano. So she had like a musical ability, and I believe that's another form of creative art.
It really is.
So that, I believe, transpired into painting for me. So where it was music for her, I believe it's painting for myself. So I believe that I got it from her.
And it only took one assignment and one teacher's critique to really spark your interest.
To just dawn on. It dawned on me, like a light went off. And when he said that, I felt resonance within myself with it. I felt, yes, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That absolutely sounds right. So I kept going with it, and then I did a mural, and it came out nice. And everything I look at, I would take in the detail of it for future use in a painting. And I just kept doing that, keep taking in detail. I'm still learning. Everything I look at goes into a filing system for future use in a painting.
And so me and you are completely on the same page when we say that every human is born an artist. There's something innate to the human psyche that drives us to mark and create marks.
We came into this time-space experience to be creators.
Yeah, and we, like you say, we have to unlearn this thing to be, put into this cookie cutter wedge of society, and it kind of diminishes our true creative nature. But for a person to find their purpose at such a young age is amazing, because I know some people who are in their 30s and still don't really know, like,
oh yes,
what is my thing, what is my contribution to the human story. And so for an artist to understand that at an early age is this is what I can contribute to society, is my view and vision of the reality that we all share. And so that's amazing. And
I did venture off into other little things, cake making and jewelry making, all kinds of creative stuff also. I was a cosmetologist for 10 years doing hair also. That's kind of painting hair. I tell people I'll paint anything that doesn't run away fast enough. I've painted everything and anything you can think of, and tried so many different creative ventures and cooking and a lot of anything that requires any amount of creativity. I've tried it out, because you never know. You've got to try it all, see what you like, see what you don't like, and then go from there.
Yeah, well, art imitates life and vice versa. So everything in life is a creative process. The way you do your hair, the way you put on your attire and your clothing.
We are the creators of our lives.
The way you season your food, culinary arts, and so art permeates every facet of our lives, and some people just don't really see it like that.
It's almost like training wheels to teach us that we can also do this with our lives around us.
Exactly.
Where we place our focus, what we are thinking about when we're looking around at what we can create, the possibilities that we're allowing ourselves to see. it starts with art and it can permeate throughout the rest of your entire life if you let it.
Yeah.
So
And I want to give a special shout out to Demario at EP Fashion and Aesthetics for
Demario.
giving our friend one of her first mural assignments.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
And so after you got that mural job from Essence of Paradise, what came after that?
Well, I started painting at Calabria's Pizza on Drinker Street in Dunmore. I started doing some Italian murals for them, and I did Venice on the wall in their restaurant, which they have amazing, authentic Italian food.
Wow.
If you're ever looking for authentic Italian food, Pete, the guy who owns it, he's from Italy. He makes authentic Italian fresh food. It's so good. But I have murals all over the walls in there, and my paintings are there. And even the ceiling as you walk in the back is all painted with the sky that I
wow.
painted, and worked on a lot of different things there. And they have Luna Banquet Hall across the street. So then I continued on over there. And I even did stuff like marbleizing and resining the tops of their bar top.
wow.
And I do a lot of furniture projects also. I like getting into building things and constructing stuff that I can then paint on top of. So we got Luna Banquet Hall all up and running, and there's artwork over there. And from there, like, I got little jobs here and there. People would hire me to do different paintings, and it just blossomed. I've done a lot of paintings. It's crazy to look back at some of the pictures when you're looking through your folders.
To see how much work you've
how much you
accomplished.
actually
Yeah.
have done through the years. Yeah.
So how has the pandemic changed your life or influenced your life with pertaining to your art? Have you implemented different concepts and themes into your art or different topics just because everyone's like going through this really weird thing that we haven't really experienced yet?
Well, I was hosting paint classes at the time, and they were really taking off, getting going, and I had tons of paint classes booked, and I had to cancel all of them at once. And then if I was watching the news or reading the Facebook posts of the anxiety people were putting out and the energy of the upset of everyone, it's hard not to kind of take that on a little bit. You feel it. If you're an artist, you feel things in others. And when I was feeling these horrible feelings from others of the anxiety and the unrest and everything that was happening, you have to take a step back. You kind of have to take a breath and refocus. You have to reconnect inside to source. You need to kind of cut yourself off from all of that sound, all that noise that brings that about, and just center yourself again. So I had to take some time and just kind of refocus and recenter. So it did take a couple months to get back into the swing of creating again.
Yeah.
If you feel any upset within yourself, it disconnects you from your own source.
This is very
It
true.
disconnects you from spirit. And when you're disconnected from spirit and you try to paint, you kind of know what happens. It's not going to work out
Yeah,
right.
it
You're going to
sometimes
paint in
happens.
circles. You're going to not like it. You're going to end up covering over it. So, just like if I'm having a bad day and I have to go to a mural job or something, I'll say, you know what? I'm going to be wasting my time and yours if I come in today and paint. I'm going to go and get right and come back, and then it's going to flow so much better, and you will be so much happier with what I do.
I can definitely understand that.
Yes.
It's like another favorite saying of mine is historians tell us what happened and artists tell us how it felt.
Yes.
And so, like you say, to have all these different emotions that you absorb from society itself and try to refocus and reevaluate the position that you are in right now, it can be quite challenging sometimes. And even me, I try to keep my art as lighthearted and beautiful as possible, but you can't escape negativity. There's no way from it. You just have to confront it and deal with it and analyze it for what it is. And so I really think that maybe one day in the future I will try to do like more like, I don't want to say necessarily negative emotions, but not as tranquil and, like the darker side of things sometimes.
The great thing about what you would perceive as negative is it provides contrast to you to show you the flip side of something you're passionate about. If you feel strongly negative about something and you have a lot of energy behind that feeling when you look at something because you're feeling really bad about that, you should rejoice, because that means that on the flip side of that, the opposite, you're going to feel very passionately positive about. It's going to ignite something within you. If something sets you off in one direction, the opposite direction is going to fill you with passion. And that is something to be rejoicing about, that you even feel that contrast.
Yeah, to have that open flow and communication with your emotions is very important as an artist.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of the art that you brought in today. Does this piece have a title to it?
I call it Route 66.
Route 66.
This I painted for my cousin Dustin, and it was his birthday. I myself am a rider. I've been riding since I was 19 years old. I had a Honda Nighthawk that I rode for almost 20 years. I loved it. And I just love the feeling of being on that bike, on the open road, not worrying about anything, just that free feeling. And it's the closest thing to flying. So I wanted to do a painting that kind of had that feeling of the freedom of just being out on the open road to go as fast as you want. There's no limits to it. And so this is the Route 66 on the road, and the future's looking bright.
It really is.
Anything is possible. You don't see a future because that's yours to create. So, and I love this color blue.
I'm so partial to blue. It's definitely one of my most used colors in my artwork, so I always gravitate towards it.
Yes.
Your rendering of this is really, really good.
I didn't want it to just be the side of a motorcycle.
Yeah.
That's boring. So I wanted to give it a little character, like almost like the bike just pulled up and squealed up in front of you and slid and parked.
The foreshortening is just like so awesome, this perspective right here.
It just pulls you right into it, like almost like you could walk over and get onto it.
It really does. And the evening or dusk desert scene is so nice. And the iconic Route 66.
And I always like a little darkness for contrast, and somewhere in the painting there's a little dark sky there, possibly an impending storm, you never know.
But then, like you say, there's this very bright destination
future,
right ahead of you.
Right.
You know, just continue with the journey and
don't mind that. Don't mind the dark clouds, keep going.
Yeah. So what medium do you use?
Acrylic. Just acrylic.
Wow. And so
it dries quickly. You have to move fast.
So is this is all just brushwork? No,
just brush.
Spray painting or
just brushwork.
Wow. Well, like I say, your technique is superb.
Thank you.
The chrome on the bike has that really sharp shine to it. And once again, just this perspective and how you captured the leather and everything, it just, and I've never been a rider, but my uncle is an avid fan of motorcycles, and he has a Harley that's very, very similar, and it's actually blue.
Yeah, a lot of people, they look at this and they feel that connection.
And I could just see my uncle, and I was always kind of scared, but I would ride with him on the back, and so this right here does absolutely make me feel nostalgic.
Like a vintage seating and everything.
I really enjoyed this. Your art is so good.
Thank you.
Let's check out something else you brought. Okay, so does this piece have a title?
This one's Lion of Judah.
Kind of obvious.
Yes. I did this one specifically for the little Sunshine Church at the very top of the Sunshine Mountain. There's a little country church. It's a lot of family members up there. I love them. They're a great family. And this was a gift for the church. They wanted a lion with the Lion of Judah on there.
This is and so the church actually commissioned you for this piece.
I believe it was a gift to them. I've done a lot of gifts. I just enjoy giving the artwork away to people. I always say, if I could have anything, it would be to have the ability to create art without putting a price on it, to be able to just give it freely to everyone. But I know, exchange of energy, money is also energy. I
Yeah.
understand all that. The happy buck, as Bob Ross would say. But I believe it was a gift, but I'm not 100% sure. They may have given me a gift of money back for it, but they love it, and it really takes up the space nice on the wall up there in the little country church.
It is a very striking piece, and the eyes of the lions are kind of glowing. Oh man, and like you say, even for me, like my biggest ambition with my art is for it to have a home and to be taken care of.
Yeah.
If I have to give it to somebody, it's just fine, As
Yeah.
long as I know that it's going to be admired and, just taken care of. And it's hard to part with pieces sometimes, but if you know it's going to a good home,
Yeah.
it's not too difficult
Well, you
at
put
all.
your energy into it, and it's like part of you. Part of
Yeah.
your energy goes right into it. And
And this piece is so big, like I have to actually
yeah, I'll get back
lean
from it
back
and see it.
to absorb all of this. How long
I
does
wanted
it normally?
to look like it was just glowing.
That's the first thing I initially noticed is the eyes. You captured that
Yeah.
luminescence so perfectly in the eyes. It draws you in as the focal point, and then as much detail and layering as you did with the mane it's very captivating. How long did it take to do this piece?
Well, it depends on how it flows, but usually 3 or 4 days is my amount of time that it takes to do a canvas work of art, with breaks in between, of course,
Yeah.
to regenerate and renew your creative energies and come back with fresh eyes. I like to, when I'm finished, before I actually call it totally finished, I'll take a break for a day overnight, come back to it, take a final look at it
Yep.
with fresh eyes, because you'd be surprised at what a night of sleep will do to
Yep,
change.
yep.
You kind of forget where you think your mistakes are and look at it with some fresh eyes.
Yeah.
So
I constantly do that. I'll if I finish a piece and I think to myself it's finished, I won't sign it that day.
yeah,
And I'll just
Yep.
wait a day or two, and like you say, just kind of sit with it and just look at it a little bit more and make sure. And the painting will tell you if it's finished or not. And
Yeah.
if it's not finished, it'll say, hey, you missed this spot here.
Yeah.
And then you'll feel more comfortable signing, because the signature is like, that's the stamp of
Yep.
approval that says, okay,
That's-
I'm done now.
Everybody knows that if my signature is on it, then it's done.
Yeah.
Until then, it's not done. If I haven't signed it and they see it sitting in a corner and they think, oh, it's done, it's not
It's
done.
not. It's almost done, but it's not
Yeah.
quite finished yet. Yeah, this piece is beautiful. Once again, your use of colors to get that luminescence in there. Even the lettering itself. Did you freehand those letters?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, amazing piece. This is very
you.
beautiful. I can see why the church has a special spot for it.
And once again, the darkness with the light.
The light,
The
yeah.
contrast of extreme dark with extreme light
Yeah.
really pulls you into the painting. I like to put a focal point of brightness somewhere in there to really draw you in. And people say that my artwork tends to just pull them right into it, like they're there almost. And that's what my intention was. That was the energy I put into it. So I get thrilled when I hear people say that.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Let's see what else you brought for us.
Okay.
Okay, we have one more beautiful painting here. Does this one also have a title?
Yes, this one is Sunlit Sierra.
First, how did you come to that name, Sunlit Sierra?
Well, the Sierra, and just my imagination would be like as if the horses, where the sun is setting and it's coming behind the horses and they're getting their last frolics in and rolling in the dust or running around and playing. And then they see the viewer, they catch them watching them. And for a moment, they're looking at you, watching them just being out
Yeah.
before they go in for the night. The last bits of sunlight on them shining and warming.
So they acknowledge the viewers here, and we see you, but we're still doing our little horsey thing here. And the contrast with the darks and the lights.
Yep, shadowing from the setting sun with the dark, the blues. I love using blue for shadowing. It
Yeah,
really.
that cool,
Yep.
that gives it that coolness to it. And your brush strokes are immaculate.
Thank you.
I can see the motion.
You should see it under black light.
Yeah. Oh, it
Yeah,
reflects under
it's
black light?
really bright under black
Oh,
light.
wow.
Yeah.
And what brand paints do you use? Because these colors are very, very vibrant. Or do you not stick with?
Whatever I could find.
I'm the same way. I'm the same way.
I've
Somebody
come
said,
across some different things, and then you know how you'll get someone that knows you that says, "Hey, I somehow got all this paint from somewhere. Here, you can have it because I
Yeah.
know you like to paint." So I would get paint from so many different sources. It's
Yeah.
hard to say what's what, but
I'm the same way. I use a couple of different brands, and that's because I think some brands have deeper, more lush pigments than
yep,
others.
they do.
And so that's why I just say this purple that you have here is just so nice. I can just almost taste grapes looking at it.
Yeah, it might have been something from back when Dick Blick was around.
Oh,
Even
don't you miss them so
I
much?
do.
Oh man, I miss Dick Blick. But
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy your art, and I'm
Thank you.
definitely a fan of your art now. These pieces are beautiful, and so what are you currently working on?
Well, I'm currently teaching classes, and then I'm doing larger scale projects. I have a client, Brian Gallagher, who he's an ex fighter bomber pilot.
Oh, wow.
He was in there for a very long time, decades. And he's had me pretty much paint every surface of his house with a different mural. I did a commemorative mural of every place he was when he was in the service, when he was a pilot.
Wow.
And the whole wall, it just has something to represent every part of his duty when he was in the military. So that's a great mural I love. And then I also donated a mural to the Legion and Shikshini Legion. It has every branch of the military during every war going across the whole wall, starting with the beginning and then going all the way, ending at
Wow.
Vietnam, representing every branch of the military. That's at the Shikshini American Legion. That's an excellent mural to check out if anyone's anywhere near there. And then I also do Addie's art therapy for veterans with PTSD. I raise money to get art kits to give to the veterans in the area. They can get them through the Shikshini American Legion. So you can go in, if you're a veteran, you can sign up to receive an art kit. And then I would bring the art kit and drop it off, and you can pick it back up at the Shikshini American Legion.
Awesome.
So I have the Addie's art program, therapy for veterans, that I'm doing. And I'll be putting videos up for them also, so that way not only do they just get handed an art kit with a bunch of canvases in it and go, well, now what?
They have some
They'll be able to
instructions with
follow
it.
along.
Yeah.
And I'll give them free access to all my online videos and workshops and
Awesome.
everything.
So if any of our viewers want to follow you and continue to keep up with your art, how can they reach you?
Well, you can follow me, myself, Andrea Racine, on Facebook. I also have A View for All on Facebook. And then I have the Addie's Art Therapy on Facebook. And I also have A View Paint Parties for people looking for the paint parties. But you can follow my personal page because that's where I really post most of my artwork. That goes up all the time. I'm always posting artwork on my personal page, and I don't really get into anything else, just artwork mostly. So you can follow me on Facebook, Andrea Racine.
Awesome. Thanks for chatting with me today.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me on. I greatly appreciate it.
This has been another episode of Electric City Television's Roundtable Discussion. I'm your host, Travis Prince, and today my guest was Andrea Racine. Thanks for watching.